Hello, welcome to this video. Thank you so much for tuning in and sharing this now moment with myself and with one another and joining me on my ride around the hood. So I went on a little bit of a message this morning just in love and light. I want to share, so if you haven't seen these videos, welcome. And I'm just going to go into a little flow and I'm just going to share that we're in a constant state of rebirth. We're in a constant state of growth. We're in a constant state of expansion. Stagnation is not expansion. We're being invited to recognize that in this growth, we learn new things about ourselves. We learn new things about our realities. We learn new things, or we remember things that we already knew that we might have forgotten. So we're always in this process of remembering. Remember that you are the ascended masters embodied. Remember that you are ascending at the same time. Remember that you are your ancestors embodied. Remember that you got this, right? Remember that you are an artist. You've been a scientist. You've been a healer. You are a healer. Everything that you have been or will be is within you now, is the biggest message that's coming through. And sometimes it's hard to see that and recognize that. And sometimes we forget that in this journey when things come up and we are so focused on the cards that we have in our hand that we don't recognize that we have access to the whole deck. Right? Or we're so focused on one particular play within our game that we're playing that we don't recognize that the card game is infinite. We could play it so many different ways. It isn't always about the royal flush, right? Obviously, I'm referring to poker. So, obviously, not like I know much about poker, but I do know that there is such a thing as a royal flush. So, all of the ways that we are expanding can change at any given moment. And I think I did a recording about this, any given day. So for us to get stuck in a particular modality or a particular concept or a particular belief is in itself limiting. And it can be, I'm sitting at a stoplight, obviously. At the time, it can be very helpful. So it was very helpful for me to be curious about certain belief systems. But now I recognize that I've absorbed those. I'm a hybrid, as are we all, right? My DNA isn't just one particular. I am a mutt. And in that, I'm a mutt. I'm a galactic mutt. And I love it because I bring to the table, as an ambassador of light, all of the representations, all of the energies, all of the frequencies that I am, have been, will be in this body. And what I choose to tune into is accentuating, for example, perhaps a particular dynamic, a particular color, a particular frequency. So for me, why focus on just one belief or one structure? Because I am expanding into many different dimensional realities. So for some of you guys, it might be challenging to focus right now on one particular thing because multidimensionality is a little bit all over the place because it isn't just linear. It isn't point A to point B to point C. Sometimes we jump over here and we jump back here and it's a little ADD. It's a little all over the place. And that can be a challenge for some of us. So I'm just kind of having a conversation with you guys right now about the energies that I'm feeling and what I've been seeing. And what I'm seeing is a lot of people think they have to play the same card games because they were dealt certain cards. And that's an old belief system. That's an old belief structure. I was dealt these cards, therefore it must be my karma or I'm hearing, I just saw a car license plate. You guys, I'm in such flow right now. I'm seeing ASP, which of course makes me think of ESP. I'm seeing no religion, but I was seeing that as no realign, but also religion. And I'm just seeing a reference to realign, 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 right? And that no religion has all the answers. I'm seeing a reference to, so we were given maybe some cards to play with as a kid, and we were told this is the game that we're playing. We're playing poker, for example. These are the rules of the game of poker, and this is how you win the game. And so we think we still have that same old deck of cards in our hand, and that's the only game. And I'm not saying we as in you, but that's what a lot of people are kind of where we're at. Guys, throw out the deck, throw out the game. The rules have changed. We've been dealt a whole new deck of cards, and we've gone from one deck of cards. Do you guys ever go to the casinos? Not that you've ever been there, but of course I grew up in California, so we went to Vegas all the time. And they don't just deal one deck. I mean, you've got, like, if you're playing blackjack, I guess, you have multiple decks of cards. So imagine now that you can play poker and you've got like an infinite number of decks of cards. You're going to win a lot more often than with just one deck of cards. Not only that, doesn't that make the game kind of boring? Because now it's like you've already won. Because it's taken out. So that's kind of the point. There are those that are stuck thinking they're still playing with the old hand, and these are the rules, and these are what we have to follow. And that's gone. It's out the window. There is no deck of cards. In fact, get rid of the cards entirely and create your new game. Play with your Invisideck. And I'm saying this because I see it, I feel it, I'm experiencing it. And it is challenging at times for some of us who were stuck in a particular playing field. And the more we can expand and open up to the multidimensional aspects that we are. I had an awesome conversation with a sister of mine, Kate, the other day, and we were trying to define multidimensionality, but how do you define something that is really infinite, right? We can assign words and names to certain structures or certain ideas or concepts of what we have about reality or non-reality, but it's never going to end there. Scientists are always going to be making new discoveries. New games are always going to be discovered. New access points are always going to be accessed. New portals are always going to be opened. And of course, the message was, we are the portals. So that's the biggest message that I have that's coming through that I'm just going to share with you guys. And I think I'm just going to end it there. So have fun creating your new games. You can choose and change it up at any point. There is no person holding their finger over you saying this is your deck of cards that you've been given and this is what you're stuck with. The only person doing that is ourselves to us. So if that's what we still want to play, then that's our choice, right? Freedom of choice. And I choose freedom. I choose sovereignty. In my rules, in my world, freedom does not mean playing someone else's game by someone else's rules. Freedom does not mean for me playing the same old deck of cards and the same games over and over again. I want to create from a space of love and appreciation and gratitude and refresh. And I'm enjoying hitting the refresh button. And we're being invited to constantly rebirth, and stay in that place of love and light. And if we're not, recognize it, integrate it, move through it, and then go from there. Rather than, again, I'm bringing back that card reference, playing with that same old deck. Oh, I was dealt this deck, therefore I'm always going to be fill in the blanks, right? I never fill in the blanks. Those are old rules, those are old words, those are old paradigms. They don't They do not fit in our puzzle anymore. Our puzzle is constantly recreating itself and remorphing itself. Our pieces are constantly expanding and changing. What was going to fit in the puzzle paradigm a week ago doesn't fit there anymore. And I literally was shown the reality structure being a puzzle, this matrix being a big puzzle, and we are all the puzzle pieces. We are all the chess pieces, so to speak. But how do you squeeze it all in and fit it together when I just decided to shift, and then I just decided to shift, and oh, I'm going to shift over here now, and oh, I think I'm going to change this now. We're not locked in. We don't have to say, this is it. This is only what I want to do. This is only who I want to be. This is only who I want to talk to. This is the same car I'm going to drive for the rest of my life, etc., etc. Fill in the blanks. We are, we're in a whole new world, guys, and this has been kind of the theme for the whole year, right? A whole new world. Aladdin. Anyways. So it isn't even, it's like a whole new world is what I'm being shown. It's like world within a world within a world, and that's a play on words. It's a whirl. It's a candy cane land. It's sweet, the sweetness of life, the nectar of life, the hummingbird, playing with all of our senses, using our extrasensory expanded capabilities, playing with all of these new pieces that have been introduced to our puzzle that are connected to the unified source of oneness and wholeness in compassion and frequency of harmonics. And as we shift into this frequency of harmonics and we play in this beautiful exchange, we will then create accordingly. It's all play on words. Accordingly. And so it is. Namaste.